Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jamie. I do a lot of these videos. I don't post them all, but I try to talk about stuff that I think might have some value to everyday common folks. All right, and I have friends. Not that this makes me a better, more valuable person, but I have friends that are financially further ahead. They're wealthier. They have more income and assets, higher net worth than I do. And for that compartment, that segment of somebody's life, I think about, how did they get there? And I respect some of the things. Some of these people worked really hard, or they were very educated and they work a career. Some inherited a business and grew the business. Some started a business, right? Everybody came from somewhere, whether they succeeded or failed. And I try to see the value in that and say, is there something that I can do to financially advance myself and my family, and maybe to help others? Just like you would with an education or something spiritual, something emotional, something physical. If you go to the gym, like people join a gym, they buy a gym, meaning they invest in home equipment. People will have a treadmill, a bike, a stationary bike. They'll have a pull-up bar, a dip bar. They'll have weights, things like that. And then they invest time and energy into that little area of their house. I have an area of my house like that, but I very rarely use it. I usually go to the gym because for me, for some reason, I'm just more motivated. Me being out there, like I drove there, I paid a membership, and it's a lot nicer than my little gym. But for me, that's what works. It may be different for you, but I'm just giving you examples. So I had the girls on a 60-second short, which those are fun. Those are easy, right? I overthink a lot of these videos because I'm not really trying to entertain. And I keep talking about, at some point, I was talking to my wife the other day, as I do this video right now, I had 200 subscribers, which is nothing. And I don't care. I was just like, wow, I'm really just doing these videos for my kids and some friends and family members. But it seems like people trickle in, and I'm like, well, I want to make sure that whatever I'm sharing is the same thing that I would say to my kids or, a family member or a friend. And I get people that come through my office every day during the week at my regular job versus, the little side businesses I have and investment stuff. But I meet a lot of people, and there's many times, especially lately over the past year, where people will share with me stuff. And sometimes they open up opportunities to other business things, business like properties and things like that. And other times they're just sharing to me about a death in the family, a tragedy, something personal they're going through. I had somebody sharing about a marriage, a couple times where a marriage was ending, and they were heartbroken, right? And I stopped what I was doing so that I let them know that was more important than what we were doing, and that I for the moments that we were together, that, hey, I care. And if you need to talk, let's talk. And I noticed that for me, that has more value. People losing family members. Anyway, so I just recognize these things more, these things that are in front of us every day. And sometimes we get so busy with business, right? We're just like a machine, and we miss that. We miss that. And a lot of times there's other good things that'll come by you setting that aside for a minute. In some cases, not all cases, and listening, active listening, they call it. So when I talk about investing, it's not because it's not because I'm not able to do a technical analysis and show you a chart and all that stuff. It's just me. It's like, I like that stuff, but I'm like, I don't know. Not everybody's going to look at it. And certainly my kids are not all that interested at all in the price action of a chart and support and resistance and channel tops and bottoms and, candles and all that kind of stuff. I just like Fibonacci's. I'm like trying to plant little seeds in their head where they'll think about these things like, why did Dad do that? I brought my daughters the other day, or one of them, we had gone for a ride to get something at the store, and I wanted to stop at a property I was checking out that I was going to put an offer in, subject to some zoning. And my daughter, who is 7, says, Daddy, are you buying this place? And I'm like, well, maybe, Sophie, maybe. It depends on some other things, right? And I'm trying to teach her terms like assets and liabilities and cash flow and, things that nobody explained to me at all, that nobody even mentioned to me. Under 10, under 20, even under 30. Nobody explained these things to me. Compound interest and just things that are probably going to be beyond her, but I want her to ask questions. I want my sons to ask questions. I want my friends and family that have interests where I say, hey, I have had some success accidentally or by a little bit of guidance, and I could have did a lot sooner if I would have started at 15 or 25 versus 35, or around there, late 35ish is when I started. So here it is all these years later, and I see it's like, if I like to use the workout analogy. If I work out every day, I watch what I eat. I don't mean like I measure it out, I'm like a bodybuilder, but I'm saying I am paying much more attention to what I drink, what I eat, how often I eat, the calories I take, the types of foods, and then I do exercise to any extent, right? I'm stretching, I'm going for cardiovascular, I'm running, I'm doing things, I lift some weights. I can tell you, if I do that 20 years longer than you, I'm probably going to be much more flexible, cardiovascularly fit, less probable to disease, like certain diseases, like cardiovascular disease. I have a stronger heart, is what I'm trying to say. If I practice these things all the time, consistently, for a longer duration, I have a big head start. If I go to the beach and I tear my shirt off and I'm like ripped, you're like, man, how did that? Which I'm not, but I'm saying, like, if they're like, wow, man, you're in great, amazing shape. How did you do that? And it's like through a lifetime of practice and discipline and sacrifice. So if I give the girls or my friends or family or my boys some information, some data, some intel, which is one of the biggest businesses in the world, information, then they're going to have a competitive edge to some others that don't have that information. Now, if you don't care and you don't want to practice it, then, hey, that's on you to, you're going to make your own decisions and your own choices that you have to live with. But if at least you present it and somebody puts it in front of you, and at some point in your life, it may make more sense. The girls are just curious. They don't understand everything, that's for sure. They understand some things, but they don't understand the value of, say, a Tesla share. Like the share of Tesla. I just tell them it's a company that makes cars. So whenever they see the car, they go, Tesla, Tesla. It's like a game to them. And they see more and more Teslas. And they see the value, like, wow, a lot of people driving these Teslas. And I say, well, I own some shares of the company. I don't tell them about calls and puts and, investment over a 10, 20-year horizon, what I think the future value of the company's fundamentally is going to be worth, and all the things they're doing, like, for example. But I try to expose them to these things. Now, I talked about a Bible scripture, not because I'm trying to jam Jesus down your throat or convert you to Christianity, okay? And I'm not embarrassed of that. I mean, I'm not the best example of a Christian, right? But I'm never going to be good enough to get there. So that's not how I do it. So there's a scripture that says in Psalms 22:6. I remember reading this. I can't quote you all these scripture, but it said, raise up a child in the way they should go. This might not be perfect. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when he is old or she is old, they will not depart from it. And what I got from that was, I thought of my own childhood and the things I did and didn't do, the things I learned and I didn't learn, the coaching and training I didn't get And this is a generation thing. My grandfather, my father, me, nobody said, hey, here's how we save. Here is the value of saving $100 a week or a month for 20 years. And here's where you should put it. Diversification, like these things. Nobody talked about this stuff. I'm just going to work, right? I'm having fun. I'm blowing money. I'm doing all these things. So if I get an epiphany, if I have some type of a realization like, wow, and I talked about this months ago where I said my littlest daughter, when I opened the trunk of this car, I found out it had these two little levers and I couldn't see that actually caused the seat to go down. I was too proud and figured, this car just doesn't have the feature that the seats fold down. I thought that for 3 years. My daughter goes, oh, look, Daddy, there's these little levers, right? And because she's small, she could see something. Her perspective allowed her to see that. And then I had to stoop down and go, oh, wow, Sophie, you're right. And I pulled the levers and the seats went down and my life got easier when I needed to put some stuff in this car. So I could be stubborn and never learn and never look at a different perception. Or I could say, wow, somebody shed some light on something that I never knew or thought about. I watch and listen to different podcasts on audiobooks and influencers and different people out there that offer information. I weed through some. I don't agree with everything, but I get some value out of the information and content that they share. And I try to apply it to the things that are important to me at this point in my life. And you might have your own system of what's important. I mean, you might have some core values, whether it's your faith, whether it's your family, whether it's advancing your business, whether it's your physical health. There's some things in there that probably take higher priority than others, and some of those probably shift, right? They move in position. If I could put, which I'm not going to do, but if I listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things up here, and then those items, right? Family, money, God, religion, whatever it is, and physical fitness, health, those things probably move and shift throughout your life, right? And what I found is when you kind of have a process where not that you can't move things around in your life, but you got to have certain things like that you do consistently. And if I start a race 5 minutes before you, or if I get a 10-mile head start, or maybe not 10 mile, if I get a 5-mile head start or a 1-mile head start in any type of race, I'm giving you an example. I ran cross country and no, you know what? I didn't run cross country. I ran track in high school and I wasn't that good at it. I couldn't tell you what my 440 was or anything like that. But I remember I wasn't the fastest. But I remember what it was to run a race or a relay. And if somebody was faster or not, if somebody dropped the baton or if somebody started, got a better head start, there's more probabilities and likelihood that they were going to win the race. So if you start at 15 or 20, I could tell you that meaning like you get the data, you get the information, you start to realize these things instead of just being distracted with all these other things. And you're trained up on the right path, you're going to go, wow, I got it. You're going to have much more opportunities to get corrected, to get straight, to become successful, because you're going to have a longer time, a longer time horizon to figure things out and to practice. Anybody that goes to school or gets a degree may have a lot of knowledge, but I don't know of a doctor that gets a 12-year education or whatever and then immediately just starts to work on people. Usually there's a residency, right? Is that what they call it? Or an internship where they shadow another doctor or surgeon, right? They want to make sure that all the knowledge that they gain, they're actually able to apply. If you go to vocational school and become an electrician or, you build houses, you don't just go out and start laying foundations or wiring houses, right? You're usually under the apprenticeship of somebody who has done it for a long time successfully. And then you go like, yes, what I've learned is now applicable. Yeah, I can put it in action. I think applicable is the right word. So it just carries forward everywhere. So that's where that Bible verse that I mentioned, to train up a child in the way that he should go or she should go. And when they're old, they will not depart from it. So I think it's an advantage if you talk to younger people. They don't have to be my kids. or if they're your nephews or nieces, or just someone who is able to receive it. I mean, it's exciting for me when someone is like listening, right? Not just because I want them to hear me, but when they listen and they actually apply it and they get results. And man, that's exciting for me to go, wow, man, I'm glad you got it sooner than me. It took me a long time to figure it out. I'm still figuring it out. But I can tell you this, these are the things I've got some success with, and these are the things I've gotten failure with. And it's been pretty consistent with the success and the failures, over time, over decades. So that's my message of this morning. I don't really have much to share with you on stocks today, options, puts, calls. And as far as real estate goes, this is more of a self-reflection, investing in yourself type of perspective today. And we'll get back to the other stuff tomorrow. All right. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday. I'll see you next time.